Hello, this is Johnny Cycles of CyclesGaming.com, bringing you another edition, or my second edition, I should say, of Pioneer Curious. I think we're going to mulligan this with the 3 Glory Bringers and 4 lands. Okay, well this is sort of the opposite problem, but at least we have a turn 1 into turn 2 play if all goes well. Oh, I thought we were on the play. Boo. Okay. Elf UAS. Interesting. I'll see if they're chatty. My second match. Ooh, spirits. This is a familiar sight. So this, I mean, spirits used to be a thing, and that's what. Okay, so I'm getting distracted. Spirits used to be a thing in modern. Hold on, let's see this one. Counter target instant or sorcery unless it's space. Yeah. Well, battle is not an instant or sorcery, so gotcha. Play draw, as we can see, very different. We'd have the kill spell ready on our turn to deploy, and then also put out another land war elves. So this is what I was. Spirits used to be a thing in modern, and it probably still is for some people. An aggro tempo type of deck. And this is what I was wondering about Pioneer. Has it just become modern from a few years ago, where it's largely like fair magic, up the curve, tempo-y aggro style decks, some mid-range decks, some control decks? And is this where I belong? Basically, should I just quit fighting against? Should I quit fighting? It's that 1/3. All right, so we'll need to draw a dragon if we want to kill this thing. Should I just quit fighting modern and complaining about the free spells and whatever, and trying to be successful there, and just move to Pioneer and realize Pioneer is the new modern for me? Doesn't seem like a lot of people are playing it at this time of the day. There's only like 3 matches going on in the free zone. Alright, so another land. So we can't kill the Lord, but we can kill this little annoying thing to help set up an answer for the Lord later. Alright, so we will play a Siege, which has a nice interaction because it's not an instant or sorcery. See what our opponent has. Now, if we can top deck something, say a dragon or a questing beast, we're off to the races. Especially something like a Glory Bringer or, well, yeah, a dragon essentially. 5-drop dragon to get around Spell Queller, depending on what they have. They may be missing land drops, or they may be playing their land post-combat. Dragon. We're playing 23 lands, so there's a good chance we'll just draw into lands. Ooh, it is a dragon. Now, what kind of counter magic is played? That's what I want to know. Playing Pioneer blind, basically. I have no idea. 2 mana. Is there a counter spell in? I mean, I know that there's always a counter target creature spell for 2 mana. But is there a counter, just a straight up counter? And no more lies. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 3. If that spell is countered this way, exile it instead of putting it into its owner's graveyard. Okay, so that is a counter spell. Mana leak with some upside for a white and a blue. So we drew the dragon right on time. They would have countered the cure, which might have been the better bait spell. But next turn we'll be able to play around that counter spell with Kiora, and then of course Spell Queller. So that could have been our mistake too, is just knowing that Spell Queller is a thing with spirits, to go ahead and run out the Kiora, even though it would have also gotten countered. And then played, and if they drew into a land and have Spell Queller mana up, then we would be playing the Glorybringer that cannot get countered by Spell Queller. Alright, let's look at this siege. It does not tell us, but after we flipped it, we were able to we had to cast it, which I think makes it technically worse, because then your opponent can interact with the casting of it. Well, we make the same mistake twice if we draw a dragon. We drew into a stomping ground. So we're going to just run out of Kiora. See what happens. And they do play spirits that have flash. And I don't really want to run my mana dorks into one of those guys, when we probably are going to need all the land we can muster. We could try to start attacking down the siege. It just doesn't feel very... it doesn't feel likely at this point. I can't remember all the flash spirits in Magic, but I'm sure they have some. They're looking for a land. I think they probably have Spell Quellers. And maybe one flash here. Destroy target creature, enchantment, or planeswalker. Its controller creates 2 map tokens. Alright, get lost. And this is target creature control explores, activate only as a sorcery. That's annoying. Alright, well that's something at least for our loss of Kiora. We'd rather have the Kiora, obviously. Opponent's got a lot of interaction. They're really desperate to make a land drop. Meanwhile, we are making all the land drops. So this, we get a look at the top card. It's a land, so it goes to our hand. That was kind of a bust. Although it did get us one land out of the way. We're really flooding out. At this point, I feel like attacking into whatever they have is the right move, because, what is it? Stormbreath Dragon, enter the revealed card zones. Put it into the graveyard. No. I mean, if they have a spirit to flash in, at least we have a 2/2 now, and they do not. Alright, we're going to save this cavern until next turn, and we are drawing a Stormbreath, which is a powerful threat against what looks to be some white removal spells. Alright, they find their third land finally. What can they do with it? And they know the Stormbreath is coming, since they got to see it from the Explorer. And we have so much mana now that we are going to be trying to max punish our opponent with this monstrosity too. So we named Dragon, in case that was unclear. So Spell Queller is a thing. I don't think it can be used to kill our Stormbreath, even with the pumping. They can jump block if they want. Can't be counter protection from white. Hopefully that's going to be hard for our spirits to deal with. At this point, we are going to attack the siege. Now, when do we get it? Do we just get to cast it anytime? When the last defense counter is removed from this permanent exile, and then you may cast it transformed without paying its mana cost. Okay. See, now that's one of the... Yeah, we'll cast it, because now Spellqueller can get the Defiant Thundermaw, which is kind of annoying. So no wonder sieges aren't getting played as much. Oh yeah, I forgot Spellqueller is also white. Because it's just not that good. So we probably should have just tried to go for the race, win the race there, but we'll see. Next turn, we should be able to Monstrous, and if our opponent, depending on what our opponent does, they'll take 4 plus 7 is 11. Yeah, it might have been better just to go for the win there, as we're taking 4 on the swing back. Can we win the race? We'll find out. Wow, alright, yeah, this is the Catilda. She's pretty powerful. What does this do? It grows it. Alright, yeah, we're under a lot of pressure now. Our opponent was able to find enough threats to just punch through our, don't care about our dragon, and they were able to manage what we were doing long enough that we couldn't put any power on the board until, or couldn't get any threats on the board until they already had enough to just go off. So this guy is, our girl, whatever, is a 5/5. 2/2. So we have 5, 6, 11. They all have flying, and that has lifelink. So we could, even Monstrous doesn't do a whole lot, right? 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Hits him for 2. Then we block, and we take 5, 6, and go to 3, and then we're probably left. And we'll play this as our last card. Yeah, I mean, they would be at 13, and we, instead of 17. And then go to 11, take 7, and go to 4. But then we're still dying on the swing back. Alright, well, we got protection from white, so we're going to just hold back and hope that they don't have another lord, which seems unlikely, given that they've had so many cards in hand this whole time. It's possible they just have interaction that doesn't answer a protection from white creature. If they swing everyone, we block, we're down to 3, and then we are left top decking to hopefully find another dragon. Even then, we might be dead. Now, if they swing out and we are able to get into it, find a Glorybringer, or any dragon really, we could theoretically win on the swing back if they don't have something like Spellqueller. At which point, yeah, attacking that siege knowing that they had this Spellqueller and that we'd have to cast a siege clearly was a mistake, because then we would be a Xaxes on the swing back if we drew another Storm Breath. So yeah, I can't remember if I put Brotherhoods in this sideboard or not. I do know that when looking through the Pioneer lists, because I did do a little bit of research on Pioneer, I didn't see Spirits in any of the lists. Didn't seem like a lot of people were playing those types of sweepers outside of some of the certainly not Brotherhoods in, but playing sweepers that only in like a control strategy. And you're also seeing the drawback, one of the drawbacks of the dragon tribal archetype that I love so much is sometimes you just draw the wrong parts of your deck. We've drawn one big threat and a lot of lands and a lot of mana dorks, which are basically lands, right? So we have not been able to find any sort of big threat. All right, so we're holding down the fort with this Storm Breath. I think they're gonna probably flash in some. Wow, and we would have killed them had we been able to. So, I mean, that's our best draw. And protection from white. I mean, they have these 2 blue blockers, so we can't swing in yet. We could go 11, puts them to 4, they just take it. So, if we swing with everybody, though, 11, 12, 13, it's Xaxes, but then they gain a bunch of life here by blocking one of our mana dorks. So I think we're also going to have to play some defense. But our defense just got extremely better. I don't think that sounds right. It got a lot better with another pro-white creature. Here comes another spirit. Is it a lord? Are there any lords with flash? Rattle chains. Okay. But if they're able to grow some of these blue spell creatures out of range, then blocking becomes not so great for us. So, I mean, we're looking to monstrous our way out of this. Let's see if they can kill us dead this turn, though. Wedding announcement. Alright, so that's going to be a way for them to draw some cards. Do they dare to attack, though? What an interesting game. This is what I was thinking when I was talking earlier about Pioneer becoming the old Modern. This is the type of board state you would see in Modern sometimes that you don't get very much anymore. Just a standoff with a bunch of creatures. Do we draw another dragon? That would surely be nice. Just no lands. We have plenty of lands. Play with fire. Alright. Can we swing out yet? We can monstrous this, and then we have lethal attacks on board, but they have 3 flyers. And I think whenever you cast a spell, alright, when Rattle Chains into the target spirit, it gets hexproof. Okay, so they don't all have hexproof. Play with fire. Let's say, alright, so let's say we swing out. They're forced to block, and they're going to block probably here and here. And then on the back swing, they have a 7/7. 9, yeah, we just die. So I think we're still left. And we could be monster scene at instant speed after their draw step. Maybe that's what we'll do. I mean, we might as well play it right. Untap, upkeep. Stop, set, stop. We do have a little bit of game now with a piece of one small piece of removal, which is nice. Might as well get in the one extra point of damage with the monstrous, though. I think I was worried that they'd have some kind of answer to respond after drawing, but I don't think that's going to happen with their deck, unless they're playing a bounce spell that's mono blue, which is a thing. Brazen Borrower is not a spirit, but it's a good card. When do we get to swing out? Well, we're going to need to start picking off their blue creatures, essentially. So we'll go ahead and do our monstrous stuff now. Saving a red source in case we want to play with fire. See if they have something at instant speed they would like to do. They do not. Alright, we'll take off that stop set now. set stop, I should say. Alright, so this says whenever another spirit, okay, sacrifice it, counter target instant or sorcery spell unless the play its controller pays X, where X is Mausoleum Wanderer's power. So we can pay for the play with fire to target the face if we want, or we really just kind of want to go after one of their. Probably just go after the Mausoleum Wanderer. Opponent still, they're going for the big swing now. Is it enough? They might just have a Lord, at which point we maybe should have killed this thing before. Yeah, I mean, I assume they have a Lord here that they're going to flash in with, cast with flash, and then we're probably dead. Rattle chains. Yep. I don't really feel like doing the math, but we're probably dead here, is what I'm guessing. Block there. Block there. Whoops. Block here. 1, 4, 5, 6, 7. Do they have the Lord? If we block the Lord here, we take 3, 6, 9, and we're dead. Alright, well, we'll see. They probably have a Lord to flash in. Or they're thinking they can win. And we'll target this guy, unless they have something else. Which they do. Alright, well, they're going for it, and good for them. They want to fade a single draw, is what they're thinking. We need to draw a kill spell, or a kill spell or another dragon. And I think we're okay. Dragon or kill spell, please. And it's a land. So now we're at 2, and they have 1 blocker, so they'll block here and then take 7, 8, 9, 11. Alright, well, maybe they should have done math, I don't know. Maybe they have one more thing that they up their sleeve. Or maybe they just got tired of waiting. They might have spirit with flash, 1 mana spirit they can cast here. And that 4 damage that we could have gotten in with by not attacking the siege is actually pretty relevant, because they're dead Xaxes, but they would have been even more dead without having to stress about it. Alright, so opponent got tired of waiting and just went for it, thinking maybe they couldn't win a long game. I think they should have kept waiting, though, obviously, because they lost. We are going to bring in some more removal. Maybe go down. I mean, it's nice that our Elvish Mystics keep living. Go down a little bit of ramp. Domri seems good against their counter magic. Maybe go down 1 invasion. I don't know. The invasions don't get countered by those instants and sorceries. Alright, let's try it like that. I'll be right back. I will say that we got both lucky and unlucky. You saw how we had just one dragon for much of that game and a lot of land and ramp. But the one dragon we had was crucial, and then we drew a second copy of our best dragon against what our opponent's strategy is, and they stumbled on land themselves. So I think the luck balanced out to make it a really close and grindy game. Opponent got impatient. I thought they could get there, and we were able to navigate it to such a place that let us get punched through just enough damage. I'll be interested to see what our sideboard plan does. I really want to see a lot of removal, basically, is what I'm hoping for. Play with fire, rending volley, and one land. That is a lot of removal. Do we dare keep it, though? Do we dare keep a one-lander in the hopes that we draw into some land? We basically need 3 land to make this, 2 more lands to make this deck, or make this hand playable, so I'm going to keep it. I said I didn't get a save before I saw it, but my opening 7, I wanted to see a lot of removal, and we have 3 pieces of removal. Our best Planeswalker, because it makes our dragons uncounterable, or all of our creatures. So and we're playing 23 lands, so we really just need 20 out of the top of our deck. In the next 2 draws, we need to see a land, and then another land, and that's definitely possible. We can even use the play with fire to scry, but I have a feeling we're going to really just want to kill whatever their first threat is. Land. Do us right, deck. Alright, well, it's not a land, but it is a Land War Elves that we will play because it functions as a mana if they can't answer it, or don't answer it. Yep, it's a spirit. The party has started. One of my children is up. Holding up more. Maybe counter magic. Land, please. Oh, max punished. Maxed punished. Four damage, 2 damage. What do we want to do? Both are instants. Man, alright, well, we're going to pass. So I guess what we're kind of hoping is that they spell Queller this play with fire, and then on our turn we Invasion of Tarkir and make a land drop. That would be our best. And then we can end up killing both of their threats. Rattle chains. Okay, well, that's too bad. Alright, we really want to land for our 1 land keep. We do not find it. So at this point I just want to maximize our use all of our mana. And hopefully we'll draw some lands. We do have 2 more pieces of removal. They nerfed 1, unfortunately. Which also gets around our Rending Volley not being able to get countered because it just gives a creature hexproof. And we know that Spell Queller doesn't counter anyway. It exiles. Give us a red source, please. Red source, so we can play some magic. Play with fire. Alright, well, I got what I wanted, which is a whole lot of removal. Might as well go for that invasion at this point, even though I maybe should have learned my lesson. Well, that at least baited out a Spell Queller. So I mean, chipping in 1 damage at a time is not nothing at this point, given how slow we are going. But we have 2 more pieces of removal and a Domri waiting in the wings. We just really need lands. And they still have a lot of cards, though. They must have a lot of interaction. Or they just have a lot of Spell Quellers. It's also a possibility. Do we find a land, finally? Red source? Hey, it's a red source. So, I mean, we can run out this Domri and just have it die. Or have it get countered by the Spell Queller. Or whatever other stuff they might have. I should have waited, probably held on to the land, but we'll see. We're going to attack the invasion again. See if it baits out another Spell Queller. It does not. We're going to pass the turn. We're just going to play defense and try to make land drops until we run out of kill spells. Okay. Kill their 1/1. Hit 2 of those guys. Too bad they're not treasure tokens. So it looks like opponent has a lot of interaction. Like I said, I mean, the Spell Queller counts as interaction. Rattle Chains, that's 3 spirits. They still have 5 cards. And they just scoop it up. Probably because it's just taking so long. I mean, who knows? There's another land, though. Maybe they just aren't happy with what they're drawing, but yeah, I mean, sometimes you just grind them out that way, the old school way. I mean, we're not that far behind on time, but I do play pretty methodically at this point. We were going to hit a 3rd land, which could have turned on Domri, but we don't have any creatures, so it's only so powerful. And I don't know what else we're going to be drawing, so... Alright, well, I mean, we kind of count that as a match win. It's unfortunate. The opponent probably had to go against us in our slow, methodical dragon play, but... You know, second match in Pioneer, I want to make sure we're playing it carefully. Or they just got tired of all the removal. They were counting on drawing cards with that Spectral Sailor, and we killed it, and they only had some interaction. Who knows? Either way, opponent scoops it up. It is a free zone after all. And my sun's up, so we'll call it a day for me as well. But Pioneer Curious, new column for the website, cyclesgaming.com. Let me know if you like it. Let me know if you're interested in seeing more Pioneer. Got 2 matches down, 2 match wins with our Gruul Dragons build. Got to do some fun things with the Invasion of Tarkir and Stormbreath, and we got to see some very familiar play patterns from the modern Gruul Dragons deck. But for now, I'll call it a day and catch y'all on the next one. Thanks for watching. This has been another edition of Pioneer Curious. This is Johnny Cycles with cyclesgaming.com. Thanks for watching. If you haven't already, be sure to check out my website where you can read about my various commander decks, my modern jank, and now my Pioneer brews. I'm also publishing my science fiction fantasy novel, The Podkine, serially. If you haven't already, click that subscribe button over there on YouTube. Everybody counts. As always, thanks for watching. I'll catch y'all on the next one.